Welcome back to another Nerdy Jock Media Presents, hanging out with my boy DK and my girl AJ, Angie Bodanji.
AJ?
Who's AJ?
No, let's keep going. This is great.
No, I mean, it's just like...
AJ Bo DJ.
Yeah, AJ Bo DJ.
Who's AJ?
There's no AJ. Okay, I'll restart.
No. This is good.
No, it's
This
fine.
is great. This is great.
It's cool.
I just thought it rhymed, AJ. Angie.
A and J does not rhyme.
Listen, you were in the moment, okay?
It's okay.
That's what we want.
DK.
Thank you so much for coming back to the Nerdy Jock podcast. We're hanging out again. Usually it's Kevin and I, but today we've got again Angie Bodanji.
Hello.
We're just hanging out. We're just talking about stuff that we're watching.
Yeah, we're talking about what we've been catching up on from the last season, but also right now we're actually going to talk about something that's brand new that you guys might be watching right now concurrently with us. A little show called Lazarus on HBO. Max and Adult Swim. So no paid promotions, but check it out there.
We're just watching it because obviously Watanabe is a huge figure.
Right.
Cowboy Bebop is considered one of the best ever, especially in the West.
Watch
like
that.
Everyone loves in America, like everyone nowadays in the next generation. Probably not in the 90s, like we're old schooler, but like 2000s plus, everyone's like Cowboy Bebop is our like.
I really want to
top
watch
tier.
this show that you speak of.
You should.
I haven't seen it.
Can I give a little context because she did say I haven't seen it, and I just want to. So in the early 2000s, when anime was starting to become mainstream in the U.S., there was a thing that Cartoon Network started doing called Adult Swim.
Oh yeah.
And basically what was on Adult Swim mostly, aside from like, American-made shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, I saw those.
Oh yeah, like C Lab 2021.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were like Bandai International was licensing shows from Japan that they thought that adults in America would enjoy a little bit more. Some stuff made it onto Toonami, like Gundam Wing.
Right.
Some stuff made it on Fox Kids, like The Vision of Escaflowne. But then there was a show that bombed in Japan. It bombed in Japan.
Big bomb.
Let me tell you why. I've said it on the podcast before, so I'm sorry if I am a broken record. But so Sunrise is a studio that mainly they do shows about big robots, Gundam,
Mainly Gundam-ish stuff.
Okay.
Gundam type stuff. And the reason is because like it's hard to monetize anime, but it's easy to monetize toys. So if you make a show about robots, you can sell toys to kids.
Or Gunpla, like we have behind us. Yeah.
So there was a little thing that happened in the 90s called Macross Plus, which was an OVA about
Great series.
It was the continuation of a robot show from the 80s, which this guy
Robotech.
Yeah, Robotech and stuff.
Okay.
Robotech is an amalgamation of different shows cut together in the US to make like a show just for the US or whatever, which included Macross, the original. And in Japan, there was a thing produced called Macross Plus, which I recommend at some point you should watch the dub because Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame is the lead actor in the anime
I love that
of
show.
Macross Plus.
I watched all that.
Of Isamu Dyson. And one of the animation directors and storyboarders was this guy, Shinichirō Watanabe. And he also directed the feature version of it. So he had like an end. This was his beginning of his relationship with Yoko Kanno.
Yep.
The music of Cowboy Bebop. And so Sunrise came to him. They're like expanding. They're like, okay, we want you to make a show. It needs to have a spaceship in it because they wanted to sell spaceship toys.
They wanted space.
He's like, got it, done. That was the only note they gave him, and so he made this like incredibly adult, jazzy, crazy Quentin Tarantino-esque space show.
Ooh, I like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, called Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop.
And Sunrise was like, what are you doing? None of these spaceships we can sell as toys.
I was like, there's like 4 spaceships and they don't play any part in the series. It's more of like, hey, getting the characters from point A to B. That was literally what most spaceships do. But like,
aside from
different.
Spike Spiegel's ship, the Swordfish, too, which that's a whole other thing. I won't go down that rabbit
Swordfish.
hole. But Sunrise was pissed, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna sell this to a late night satellite channel in Japan.
Swim. Oh no,
no, like first, and all the episodes aired out of order at like 11 p.m. at night. So everyone
It made
in
it
Japan was
even
like,
worse.
what the hell is this? Because Bebop is like a straight narrative. There are like individual chapter adventures.
Wait. So they messed up showing the whole show from the
Yeah,
beginning?
they didn't go start to finish. They
man.
aired it out of
This
order.
is like if you have public broadcasting or if you have PBS or Channel 10 or whatever free channel you used to have back in the day, there's like, hey, we need something to fill a slot from 9:30 to 10.
Or 11 to 1
11 to
a.m.
1 a.m. Like, do you have any kind of show that we could just put on there and like?
It was that show.
If people have their TV on, we'll still get some ratings.
Right.
And like, we got just the thing for you.
So Bebop.
That's really how it went. That's really how it went.
Bebop was one of those shows, so it bombed. But thanks to a company called Bandai International, they bought a bunch of properties at once. They bought Gundam Wing. They bought a show called Outlaw Star.
Outlaw Star.
Which made it onto Toonami. And they bought Vision of Escaflowne.
I love Escaflowne.
Which is like
One day
Game
I'll
of Thrones
know.
with mechs,
I love
basically.
Escaflowne,
Like
yeah.
that's all you need to know. It's like Game of Thrones with mechs and stuff like that. And they got Cowboy Bebop, which they couldn't air during the daytime, but it was just perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Adult Swim started up.
I used to love Adult Swim. I watched it
What was like? Okay, then
Yeah,
what was
let's
your
talk
favorite
about
thing
Adult
on Adult Swim?
Oh no! I mean, well, I don't remember the names of stuff. That's my problem. But
But you said you watched Aqua
Bone.
Teen,
I
yeah.
liked like Bone Dogs or whatever. It was
Boondocks.
Boondocks, okay,
sorry.
yeah.
Boondocks great.
I
First
also-
3 seasons.
Like Family
awesome.
Guy was
Great
on it
series.
often.
Family Guy, yeah.
And then they had the one with the Robot Chicken.
Robot
It was like a
Chicken,
15,
yeah, great
15
show.
minute show that was like.
Shout
all
out
the-
to Seth and Claire. Yep.
So
and
what
then Coast Ghost.
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost. Sorry.
Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Yeah, I mean, but that was like when I was like younger. But it's
that
still
was pre-Adult Swim,
That's
Adult
what-
Swim. That was
Yeah.
they had to
My
fill.
brother
Well,
showed
that was
that to me.
pre-anime-ish Adult Swim.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yes.
Because like Adult Swim anime took over. No, this is actually great you talked about it because there was a transitional period when it was like, okay, we're doing a lot more just wacky animated stuff. And
Adult stuff at night when kids are asleep and when adults want to
and they were
watch.
going to bring in more adult
This is like
like
different
themed
bits.
anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when they started bringing in Cowboy Bebop and everything else.
So they brought
from there.
anime into it.
Exactly.
Well, and
So wait, question.
Cowboy Bebop was like the flagship anime that they brought in.
Was that the first one ever?
I think
first,
so.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Anime.
the very first one. They would do 2 episodes a night, so you would get
I didn't see
a double dose. And for all of the rest of the world outside of Japan, people saw this and they were like, "This is it."
Well, did they show it in order?
They did.
Okay, well that
Yes.
probably made it.
Unlike Japan, they
They might have
they
messed
showed it in
up a little
order.
bit.
Might have messed up in Japan on that one, but
What?
you know what?
They don't
Look,
mess
now
up.
it's a huge
Japan
international
never
hit,
messes
and everyone
up.
knows it, and everyone loves it. Netflix made a $200 million series about it. You know,
Which
at one point.
What?
we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, we're
I
not
just
going to
want
go
to
there.
see.
wanna
I
get
just
in
want to see
trouble.
like the. I just want to see. I
we're gonna go
just
there.
want to check it out. I don't know. First of all, I didn't know if it was a movie or a
But
series.
they have a movie
They
that
did
they made
release
after
a
the
movie,
series.
Oh,
yeah.
of course, it's
but-
both.
Because eventually, Bones spread it out. So that's a new studio. They did the movie in conjunction with Sunrise, and then Bones became its own studio. Bones, who are famous for My Hero Academia, which you know Kevin likes.
You know, you've seen that with
I have
me.
seen that with you.
Yeah, you've seen that with me. You know My Hero Academia. Not every
like
episode, but
2
you
years ago.
You know quite a bit because I watched that pretty regularly.
I remember that. Was that with the panda?
No,
it's
that's Jujutsu Kaisen. God damn.
Yeah.
I like the panda. Okay,
No,
sorry.
remember My Hero
Yeah, wait.
Academia?
I'm gonna
Okay.
remember.
It's fine. It's fine. My Hero
okay.
Academia is like all the little kids that have different powers.
Right.
Quirks.
It's like the anime version of
X-Men.
X-Men.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, baby. Yeah.
Oh,
cheers.
That's a perfect
You know,
thing.
cheers.
Let's cheers for Mike's. This is gonna
Mike
sound
cheers
so
in.
bad.
So sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Like they're like, what are you doing? You're cheersing on your mic.
We just
No, it is
cheered
what it is.
our microphones.
But long story short, Bebop was like the revelation. That was when a lot of
Yes.
people jumped into adult animation.
What year was that? 2000s?
2001, 2002.
Oh, wow.
I want to say.
Like right when we were 8.
It was
I was like
it
about
was
to
during
graduate high school,
it was
18, 17.
it was
in high school.
post it was immediately after 9/11
I
because
was still in elementary.
there was an episode, the Teddy Bomber episode, that they couldn't air on Adult Swim because 2 towers explode because of bombs.
It was right.
Yeah, so it was too it was
Well,
too
that was
fresh.
what 2001,
2001, 2002. Yeah, I was
So
I was
then
8th grade going
18,
into 9th
yeah,
grade.
I was like
yeah,
almost 18, 17,
I was in
18.
4th grade.
damn.
Are you talking about? Wait,
Robbing the crate.
no, we
Oh,
were legal.
yeah.
We are legal, obviously.
Yeah.
Wait, Wait, are you guys talking about
Cowboy Bebop.
9/11?
Cowboy Bebop. Yeah,
And 9/11. Yeah,
We're talking about both.
doing a
Okay.
9/11 pod.
This is
Cowboy
just
Bebop
everything.
and 9/11.
Yes, I know. We didn't
And
think
Adult
we were
Swim.
ever going to mix that in this
Well, we
pod
did.
today, but it's happening.
I only brought it up because there were some episodes that couldn't air, but it became a massive hit.
Yeah. Huge
What?
shit, yeah.
Show me that show.
And like the way that people.
I will.
You should. You should.
I
think
kind of
you would
like that.
it.
I mean, I want to because I want to see what you guys are talking about when it relates to Lazarus.
You should.
Well,
So Watanabe.
thank you for making that transition.
Macross Plus, Cowboy Bebop, he owned. That was his thing. He followed it up with a very successful show too called Samurai Champloo. Which was a samurai show that had hip hop themes in it.
Big in America.
During the period when 30 Rock was starting to blow up, I
Everyone-
had friends that had cousins and brothers that were actual gangsters, Crips.
Yes.
And they weren't watching American television. What were they watching? Naruto. Yeah, which is a shonen young boys like adventure
Are
fantasy.
you watching that?
Yeah, it's
Oh, no,
Harry,
you're
it's
watching-
Harry Potter
you're
with
watching
ninjas.
One Piece.
I'm watching Naruto, but I'm only like 20 episodes in.
You can't say you're watching. You haven't watched it in like 8 months. So
Okay.
No.
I'm watching One Piece right
You're
now.
watching
man.
One Piece right now.
I literally got off that Naruto train for a
You
hot
try-
minute.
yeah,
I tried,
you
but
did
like
for
you
a
know
little
what?
while.
I'm at like episode 94 in One Piece, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. But
One Piece is pretty good, but
this is not a
This
One Piece
is not-
podcast.
We
not
digress.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we'll talk about it in a bit.
But okay, so Samurai Champloo. Then he followed it up with some other shows. Wait,
time out though. Quick question. Didn't Samuel Jackson do some voiceover work for
No, he
Samurai
did
No,
not.
Champloo?
that was
You're lying.
No, that
There's
was
snakes
that
on
was
these
Afro
planes.
Samurai.
Oh.
That was
Afro Samurai,
That was
okay.
a Madhouse show.
Shoot, sorry.
Yes.
My bad. I'm crossing the Black Samurai anime.
No, because of Bebop. Bebop opened the doors for this kind of stuff. Spike TV back in the day.
Oh my goodness.
Started airing
I remember
Afro
that.
Samurai, which had
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson in it, and stuff like that.
And then I mean we didn't even need to like, and we unintentionally just treaded into this, but that actually makes more sense for how Lazarus is playing for America and HBO
Right.
and the demographics and what they're going for.
Well, so
like this-
So the rundown is that Watanabe now became a superstar.
Interesting.
He did a bunch of other shows.
Tell me
more.
more.
I'll quickly plug.
No, so I do-
He did a show called Kids on the Slope about kids growing up, like I think it's post World War II, who discover jazz music and they become musicians. That's a really good show. He did a show that's on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's about these girls who want to be like pop stars and dancers and stuff like that.
Right.
I forget what it's called. He did a tremendously personal show for him called Space Dandy. Which
That's his favorite one.
It's his favorite one. It has amazing animation, and a lot of people are dubious about the plot, but some people love it. The animation is objectively amazing. And so then, which brings us to Lazarus. Adult
Okay.
Swim came to him because this is Adult Swim exclusive. They said, hey, we want you to make a show just for us. We don't want it on Crunchyroll. We don't want it on anything else.
Yeah.
Make it. He's like, oh, I want to make something that's kind of Space Dandy-esque. And they're like, could you make something that like is futuristic that has a jazz soundtrack?
With
So
maybe
basically-
some ships like Cowboy Bebop.
yeah, so basically, Cowboy Bebop, and ergo, now we have Lazarus.
Now we have Lazarus.
Yes.
So that's where we're at right now. I know it took us 14 minutes to get there, but we are
Are
talking.
we 14 minutes in?
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to Lazarus.
So we're-
It's 15
So we're
minutes.
14 minutes
I
in,
know.
and Angie had a hard 15-minute cutout. She's like, "I'm leaving after 15 minutes." I'm just kidding.
Well, I just want
okay.
to.
I did not realize we burned so much time
We
just
did.
setting up Watanabe to get to Lazarus.
be continued.
but he's important to set up because
It
this
is.
is all important because he's a
He's an
fantastic
auteur.
auteur. Yeah,
Yes.
like he is Hideaki Anno level auteur. We need to have like the Miyazaki auteur. Watanabe is one of those auteurs. Like, he needs to get the time and respect his work and craft deserves.
Right.
So now we're
totally.
transitioning to Lazarus, which is obviously he created it, but there's a huge Western influence in, I mean, a lot of his stuff, but especially in Lazarus.
Well,
Paul.
we were talking.
Yeah,
Right?
it's based in America.
We already did a pod where we talked about episode 1. We all just watched episode.
If you haven't seen it,
3
check it
together,
out.
because they watched episode 2 together. We all just watched episode 3.
Right. Yeah.
And we were talking off pod that this show feels like kind of Avatar: The Last Airbender-y,
Right.
where it's like anime influence, but it feels Western
It's
animated
like
almost.
Nickelodeon's making it, but it's also has like themes and ideas and like creators that were probably going to be more 100% more anime, and it's like there's a part of my heart like I don't know where I feel in that. Like I'm all about making a good stew, mixing together if it works. But
Korea's doing it great.
Yeah.
Like Solo Leveling. Yeah.
Solo Leveling,
you talked about that last time.
But I think like people come to anime to have the specificity of anime.
Cultural experience.
Yeah, the cultural, like the Japanese cultural experience of anime and the storytelling.
Yes.
The storytelling is absolutely different than what you're gonna see in Lazarus, which I do think you see.
Keep saying it different too.
Lazarus, I know, I got it. I'm sorry.
He's in Mike Tyson mode today because of the mimosas. He's like,
Mimosas, baby.
Lazarus, Evander.
But no, like culturally, like there is going to be a difference in there from what you would experience if it was a 100% Sunrise production in Japan, and like you can tell there's a lot of Western influence, Western hands on this production that you didn't see before.
Yes.
And that
we don't know. We talked about this. We debated like how much
is it a hindrance or is it a positive?
Is Adult Swim putting ideas on the table?
Right.
Is HBO Max, who are their parent company, putting ideas on the table? Is it all from Watanabe? Is it Watanabe knowing that it's an exclusively American audience in 2025? So he's like, let me explore American themes.
Right.
We don't really know because it is a show that whether you like it or love it, I think we can agree it is culturally reaching for what it wants to be.
We can agree they pulled everything out of a hat, and this is what came up.
This is the cootie catcher of like.
I mean, okay.
So
let's get into it then, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Lazarus, and we're having problems. There's things we love, there's things we hate, but we're having problems with like number one,
Also,
the plotting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Well, the dialogue, and then the just how they're running the show. Like so.
We're 3 episodes in. As of this record, there are 5 episodes out. It's a Sunday. None of us have seen episodes 4 and 5.
Yeah, we've seen 1 through 3.
You haven't? I feel like you. Oh, okay.
No, because after watching 3, I was like, I don't know. If
you weren't sure about it. Yeah.
I was like, I might be done, but I'm like, you know what? Episode 2, I kind of really enjoyed.
All right, so obviously I gave a pretty long-winded explanation of Watanabe's career, so we had to take a little break. A little costume change. We got our cat Psycho up in this picture.
I brought my Psycho white
cat and her jacket.
kitty.
Yeah, so we talked about Watanabe's career. We already previously talked about our impressions of episode 1, but I mean, where we are divided and where we have some interesting stuff to talk about this time is episode 2 of Lazarus. So, Kevin, if you just want to jump in, like what about Lazarus episode 2 is making you like, this is a show that I want to continue watching?
Well, let me grab my notes here. Thank you, DK.
Of course.
And
your notes that are on my phone.
I had to send them to you because my phone's recording right now.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Technology.
So there's some interesting stuff in here that's like good. There's good and bad, okay? Around the whole show. They do a lot of interviews and cutscenes to like the modern world or world they're engaging with the team of, not just the team of Lazarus, but everyone alive, right?
Sure.
And you're talking about episode 1, how bad the dialogue was through the first 3 episodes, right?
Yes.
And I said, okay, well, let me watch and let me get my feel of how I think about it.
And really quick, like we've only seen 3 episodes. There are 5 out as of the time of this recording. So
we watched 3. And in episode 2, they do have an interview where they find Skinner's house, right? And then one of the gardeners or the caretakers of the house says, yeah, Skinner seemed like a nice guy. I remember burying a cat with him once. I'm like, what? And they said, yeah, we buried one of his cats.
No.
It was a cutie patootie.
Don't listen.
Oh, he does say that.
Yeah, they actually say the words cutie patootie. I'm like, that for me, like, okay, that's weird. Like my grandmother said that, but like I don't know. And so I was like, maybe this is like like Japanese style, like trying to be interjected with writing of like Western culture, because like in Japan, no one's ever said cutie patootie.
You don't say that.
Well, we have to say that because this was made for Adult Swim. I think we're both watching it or all watching it in English.
And it takes place in America,
yes.
USA.
So even though I normally watch things subtitled, we are watching it dubbed.
Right.
Yes.
So we don't know what they said in Japanese. They could have said something that was equivalent, some onomatopoeia, something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about dialogue, I get it. But I think it could have an overarching plot point that comes into play later in the series. But before we even get there, I just want to say after that scene, they cut straight to another scene of like a David Letterman-esque late night talk show host interview. There's a big pop star, kind of looks like Britney Spears-ish, and the name of her new album is See You Later,
Alligator. No, it's not.
Yeah,
I was
it
just
is.
saying that
No,
to say it.
I know.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's See You Later, Alligator. I'm like,
These are my problems with this. How
exactly. So like,
campy it is.
so it's pretty campy in those regards. So all the complaints that Dan said when we watched episode 1, and he had already seen through episode 3, like are starting to shine out.
Right.
I'm getting all those moments, but we know that this show was obviously made with an international audience in mind. And we know that like after that though, I think it transitions because I'll tell you my theory at the very end and I'll talk about a couple more points and I'll go there and I'll tell you why it actually is going to make sense for the overall plot of Lazarus.
Okay.
So there's another great moment, a couple scenes later in the show. There's a big silence. The team is in the barbershop. They're hanging out, right? Mm-hmm. And then they all ask, okay, who here has done Hapna? All right?
Uh-huh.
And every single member of the Team Lazarus team raises their hand.
Right.
And then there's like a really long beat. No music, no nothing, just whatever. And you see Axel's face kind of grin, and he raises his hand too, like, oh, I've done Hapna. And that's great because it just says, hey, it shows that whether we don't get along, number one, we're now in this together. Mm-hmm. But it also showed that, like, originally you thought, like, oh, Axel was, like, going to be an outlaw or this other kind of person who wasn't going to end up being a member of, like, the core team or, like, just, like, playing, saving face and being a good guy. He's been trying to kidnap people at gunpoint for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So when he does this moment and he just raises his hand and say, hey, I've done Hapna too. And he was in prison. In episode 1, and we didn't know that.
Sorry.
So I assumed that he'd been in prison so long that he hadn't even had a chance to take Hapna.
I was wondering about that too.
Do you think he really did though?
Well, I mean, he raises. Well, that's the
You
thing.
can still
That's a
raise-
great.
that's
You
an
can still
interesting
raise your
question.
hand
I didn't
and
think
be
about
like,
that.
That's a great question.
Maybe he just said that
because he just wants to be included.
Maybe he saw them and they all raised their hand and said, oh, I did Hapna. And he's like, well,
He's like, no.
I'll raise my hand to be part
Just
of the group.
to, like-
but like that's the subtlety of the show that makes it amazing because there's so many good subtle things that go on in this show.
I wonder if he really did.
No, and okay,
I didn't even think about that, but that is an interesting point. What
I
if
mean,
he hadn't
anyone
done
could
it?
raise their hand.
Exactly.
He's got the wristband on. He's kind of committed, but he doesn't want them to feel like I can't trust this guy because he doesn't have the same stakes that we do.
Exactly.
Maybe he hasn't done Hapna yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like there are a lot of subtle things that they are pushing through the show on top of that terrible dialogue that you're talking about, which is true. It's not great, but the core is there. The core of the story is there. And I think like if you watch it again, maybe you'll see that like maybe there are things you didn't notice.
It's going to get interesting, I think.
Yeah, that are getting better. And there's another moment actually about after this one that I noticed too that was really fascinating too. It's like, okay, so they're introducing Axel to the barbershop and the crew of Lazarus. And then they cut and they show that, like everyone in Lazarus has their own kind of like base or like, oh, here's your room, the loft upstairs is someone else's room. They're kind of giving everyone else their own space in Lazarus and showing not only where they control in the base, but just like who they are as a character. They have Eilina, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, she was she's a playful, childish teeny bopper, Gen Z type, but who's
the hacker
girl, right?
Yeah.
And she's living in kind of like a makeshift teepee that she makes upstairs. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool because growing up, I actually had a teepee
Yeah.
and my best friends, and they all had teepees that we just like that their parents
Wow,
had made.
you had such a good time, like childhood. There
thank
was
you.
one time where I got to hang out with the teepee and it was like really cool. But sorry.
Yeah.
No, tell us about that time. What
it
was your
just-
TV
it was-
experience?
Well, it was outside. I think it was at a camp. It was like a summer camp, but we all got to hang out.
Right. Yeah. No. So teepees are
was in
cool.
my
Like
room.
all kids love teepees. So
I mean,
like,
duh.
So just from a story plotting perspective, just saying, hey, we're gonna set all the relational barriers now, and set up like what we think is where it's gonna go from here. So we've got Eilina sitting with a little teenage teepee there, so she can be in her own little Gen Z zone, which is cool. And then they cut to the blonde femme fatale, Christine, right? And it's just Axel's walking by, and he looks in, and he sees her, and she's making her bed very nicely. So
Yeah.
it's like that also adds like more
Like
thoughts
who's
to
who?
who's who. Like
yeah.
how's it going to relate to the overall team of Lazarus and the plot in general? Like, is she now, because we see her making the bed, we know she's an adult. We know Cowboy Bebop, we know Watanabe, he loves to do more adult stuff, in general. Not super like PG-13. It is HBO and Adult Swim. And we're thinking like, hey, maybe just because she was making the bed in that one instance, that automatically set up in my mind the possibility of like a sexual relationship between Axel and Christine.
Or at least a tension relationship.
Attention, yeah, exactly.
Which a lot of animes they will have that tension relationship that never really has the payoff.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, and maybe that's the same deal, but at least they're doing some classic anime keys or moments that will like, hey, visually we're going to show you what we're thinking, but we're not going to really tell you. And that's a great step because in general for the last 20 years, anime has been tell, don't share. But I think the best storytelling is share, don't tell. Or show, don't tell.
Show,
Sorry.
don't tell,
Show, don't tell. My bad. But yeah, exactly. So in general,
But
I think like we're on a good track here.
Okay, so I hear all that.
Yeah.
My problems with the show are all the things that they choose to show, what they choose to show, because I think that the tell is actually not that bad. The setup, the stakes, the characters are all interesting. But it's when they get into the weeds of what the people choose to say and what they choose to tell us, that's when it starts to feel a little bit wonky. Or it's just like, okay, that was a little awkward. Like you already mentioned the See You Later Alligator album. There was
The dialogue is bad, yeah.
the dialogue isn't great. Yeah, the line in the first episode, he escaped from the roof like a bird flying out of its cage or whatever. I was just like, that sticks out even for an anime. Like anime is known for on the nose dialogue and for kind of corny dialogue.
But that's pretty like
That
corny.
was pretty extreme. I was like, that's like
Right.
So I think that, in terms of, we won't get into episode 3 in this pod because we're almost done. But I think that, I think that it's a well-directed show, that the setup is great. The countdown is great. The stakes are great. Everyone's going to die in 30 days. So this team has to solve it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the what. It's like,
Right.
what are they doing about it, and what are they doing interacting with each other and all that stuff, and why? That's where it's lacking for me. Because unless they're constantly telling us what the stakes are, I don't feel like the urgency is there.
But I also feel like that's how it is in the beginning of a lot of episodes, like a lot of series or movies. We're in episode 2 of how many?
13.
Okay. Like think about like, I don't want to bring it up again, but like
Evangelion.
yes.
It's actually 26 episodes.
I thought it was 13. Anyways, my point
26 and 2 movies.
is we're in the second episode. So like things change pretty quick, probably by like midway. So you just got to get through it, and then it's gonna probably be crazy.
Well,
Watch.
No,
I
agree.
Good.
I agree with you.
Like episode 2, they think they're going to Skinner's house.
I think you're right, babe.
And it's like something else is there.
Yeah.
Like the person they're looking for is not there. There are other people hunting for this person for different reasons. It's like, cool.
Right.
Episode 3, hackers around the world are like projecting Skinner's image onto different people, and so now we can't find Skinner. It's like, cool, that's great, but it's it's the connective tissue that I have a problem with, and I can't really articulate.
Maybe you just have to watch it like together. Watch all 1, 2, and 3.
We did watch episode 3 together, and we were all collectively roasting it as we were watching.
But I think she's like more of like binge it. She's like, should we just wait until
if you can binge a few episodes at a time?
Should we wait till the whole season's out
Obviously,
and then rewatch
you have to wait.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Okay, I mean, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Should we just...
And
I
then
don't know, you tell us. Should we watch it episode by episode? Because right now there's a lot of greats. There's a lot of pluses, a lot of minuses. We're just struggling.
Yeah.
So let's do this. We're 2 episodes in. We've got a lot more to talk about with Angie specifically. Like, I'm really lobbying to get Angie to watch Ninja Scroll,
Ghost in the Shell,
and Ghost in the Shell. Specifically, so we can.
She knows Ghost in the Shell a bit.
We can put Lazarus on the back burner, and we can just do like a
I want to do Dungeons.
I have like a 4K Blu-ray of Ghost in the Shell I bought recently.
Nice.
I kind of wonder if maybe we can do like a live stream where like it's just us watching the show, and we don't have to have the whole film like there and like
our reactions.
Yeah, our reaction, like a reaction podcast live,
almost like a commentary.
Yeah,
so people can put it on and then
like I kind of would like to do that as like at night. We
fun.
just all sit down and watch a commentary together. Ooh. I mean, obviously because
I would do that.
Do we have popcorn?
Yeah. We're gonna have hot popcorn. We have whatever you want.
We could have hot wings.
We have hot wings. Yes, we can go wild. But I'm just thinking like we need to do something like that. But I just think for YouTube and other purposes, like copyright, they won't probably let me show the whole film. So
but
I'll just say, hey, start the film right now.
If we do a live commentary,
that'd be fun. I would do that.
So I think we could, if we can, with the infrastructure, with your sound and with the camera, we can go live. We can watch it, and we can just be doing a commentary track. It would then exist that people want to watch it with the commentary track.
We'll have a lot of comments.
We can do that. So okay,
so then
be prepared. We'll have a lot.
So like, I mean, I'm not off on Lazarus yet. Like I'm still like, hey, I want to watch it. Like I'm kind of intrigued because they do have a lot of classic Western storytelling, almost like serial killer kind of like procedural kind of drama vibe to it.
I don't know if we said this yet, but I should just say it before we wrap that because we did record a little bit more and then we ended up realizing that we weren't recording. So
we messed up.
I don't know what's at the beginning, so I apologize if I'm a broken record, but we were talking about how this show, even though it's clearly anime, there's something about it that makes it feel like Americanized anime.
Very Americanized.
Where it feels almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender in terms of its design.
Yeah, like Nickelodeon, same deal.
This is America imitating anime. There are moments where it's like, this doesn't feel like genuine anime. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that is, but...
No, I still feel that, but... I think like I think I'm gonna be here for the journey. Like I'm gonna finish this series.
Good on you.
Yeah,
Nerdy Jock, Kevin Ketchum.
I try my best.
He's in it to win it.
Yeah, I'm sorry if this wasn't the most complete Lazarus pod. I'm sure there's others out there you can watch, but we're glad you tuned into us this fine afternoon.
Last point.
Yeah,
Angie. Like so,
yes.
You're 3 episodes in. I know that 2 maybe you didn't watch as much as like 1 and 3, but like overall. From what you've seen, are you optimistic about where it's going? Like, is it intriguing where you're like, like I kind of want to see where this goes?
I mean, kind of, because you guys mentioned that it's not really like anime style where they introduce the characters in the 2nd episode and whatnot. Like, I do like how it's being filmed, and there's a countdown of 30 days, and they're on the mission of finding the guy that's trying to like kill the universe. I feel like we're just too early in to figure out what's going on. So come say episode 4, maybe 8, I don't know. I'm sure like the end, it's going to be probably epic. Like that's just how it is with series.
I mean, there's only 10 episodes, but like a lot can happen.
I'm just saying. So yeah, I mean, I'm in.
For fans of the pod, I'm having deja vu to Kevin, my justification for the early episodes of Dragon Ball Daima. Or we're like, listen, we're only 4 episodes in.
Oh, really?
Like you're setting it up. We're just gonna get going.
And how was it?
If you watched episode Dragon Ball Daima, our pod, like by episode 16, 17, we're just like it's like 2 guys with like beards in a wasteland, just like we're trying to survive.
It wasn't good.
We're trying to. It was like 2 guys on a desert island. Like, I felt like Tom Hanks.
So if that's
in Outcast or whatever it's called. Wilson, not Outcast, but Castaway. Castaway. I was like, oh.
Okay, well, how about this? In
Sorry,
that
Miss Jackson.
case, why don't we just binge watch it and then talk about it later?
Okay.
Just a thought.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Because you asked a question in the middle of that, like, yeah, we were both disappointed with Daima.
Especially like
Daima was not what
if
we
this is
thought.
a series where you said 10 episodes,
Yeah, easy.
we can knock them out.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay, so does that mean we do Ninja Scroll first, then Akira?
We have to do Akira.
And then we have to do Akira, and then Ghost
Can
in the
you
Shell.
ask can you have like not a
Siri AI thing?
Look,
No.
when we do Akira, can you record her secretly during key moments?
Now
you
I'll
know
know.
what moments I'm talking about.
Can you
in
ask?
for
Akira
sure.
that we can intercut
survey?
into the middle of the pod?
You should put up a survey. Can you do that on
Okay,
your
yeah.
streaming?
Can
So hey, no, I mean we'll
Is
just
there a
ask you
survey?
guys, like, let us know which one do you want us to do first. We know we're gonna do some
What are the
films.
choices?
We do a lot
Ninja
of
Scroll,
series.
Akira, Ghost in the Shell.
We do
Those three.
Okay, well, never mind. So it's Ninja Scroll, Akira, Ghost in the Shell. What order do you want us to do them in? And we're gonna do them the next couple weeks. Next 3 weeks will probably be those three.
Cool.
Just a movie a week.
Movie a week.
Very
I like
low
that.
commitment. Yeah.
Easy peasy, right?
We'll find out. We'll see what they
Yeah,
say.
so our takes on Lazarus season 2, or episode 2, we're just gonna wait and then watch the whole thing. And if we like it, if by episode 5 it's not fantastic, then we just quit.
We'll figure it. And we'll let you know.
Okay. I will watch 2 more episodes with that.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, if I can
So
get to
he's
5.
already ready to get off the ship. I'm like, hey, I can
There's
see
just
this
too
out
much
the end.
stuff to watch, guys.
I'll binge watch
If you're
it,
not
guys.
watching, was it Extraordinary Attorney Woo on Netflix about the autistic lawyer? It's a Korean.
Oh, the Korean one?
rom-com. It's great. Watch it. Actually,
It's
that,
like the
that
lawyer-
show
the-
too. Most Korean shows are like 10 episodes long, 8 to 10. This is a 16 episode show. I'm past episode 10. It is wearing out its welcome fast. I'm like, dude, this show should have been wrapped up like a few episodes
Yeah.
ago.
It's like the Korean version of The Good Doctor with the autistic doctor.
Except
but-
if it was
but that
also a
lawyer.
rom-com. Yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, well, there we go. I mean, like, we'll see. Lazarus season 2 is, I enjoyed it, but it's still.
Episode 2. You keep saying season.
Fucking
It's all right, guys.
Episode.
We've recorded a bunch of pods. It's fine. We got the impressions. Angie, thank you so much for offering your
Aw,
input.
thanks for having me.
I think you've set the table for where
I
we're
enjoy
going.
this.
We're just gonna binge it.
We really can't do without you anymore, to be honest. You're pretty much a vital part of this team, and we love having you here, right?
Angie, if you
Let us
like,
know. If you like having
Angie to
Angie on the
continue-
pod,
We can.
if you like,
Or
yeah, exactly.
not.
Dan,
If you like having Angie on the pod, please let us know because she thinks she's not doing the best,
Okay,
but we
I'm
think
gonna
she's doing
walk
great.
away.
she's amazing,
walk
and
away.
we love her so much, and we're glad she's here with us because we can't have 2 weebs and a waifu without her.
Oh,
Yeah.
So-
Psycho's not gonna fill that void.
Yeah.
So
Until we see you next time, which
Like
is
and
going to be in a couple
subscribe.
days. Like
and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time. Oh,
bye.
okay, that was weird.
It's all
Okay,
right.
Whatever.
Okay.